Hi guys, it's Ray. Today we are going to test out the Resiners tumbler curing machine. It'll hold 2 cups. It runs for an hour. It's supposed to cut your curing time way down on your standard epoxies. So this is it assembled. It has its silicone mat in the bottom. I have 2 turners that will fit under here. With a little finagling, I did get the feet on it, but I almost need a tiny bit more lift just because there's so much buildup on these turners. I'm kind of thinking about trying to strip the bases of the turners, take them apart and soak them in acetone. I will probably try that when I'm on vacation. And then this is the acrylic that closes it off. So I'm going to just put a clear coat on both of these tumblers because they are ready for final coats. And we're going to see how it does overall. I do wish I'd put another silicone mat under here, but that's okay. I've got paper over my table. I don't normally use my turners on this table, so. And my epoxy is pretty bubbly because even though it's hot today, it's a little cool in this room. And I am using CCDIY Artist Resin for this coat, in case anyone was wondering. I'm curious to see if this really works because I do have a couple of epoxies here that have worked in the past that aren't currently working with the weather situation. So I'm sort of hoping that this may actually solve some of those issues for me. It's part of why I don't like recommending epoxies to you guys because, like especially in our climate where, and I already got epoxy on my machine in 2 spots. Crap. But it's part of why I don't like recommending epoxy to you guys. Because what works for one doesn't work for everybody, and even, like I said, what works for me here doesn't always work for me here. So it's hard for me to say what's going to work for you. So I always recommend trying the smallest amount. And if it's working, then go ahead and order a larger amount. But again, like I said, I tested the one I hadn't tested in a smaller amount, but the other one I've used before in sample sizes and had no problems with, and now all of a sudden it's not working in our summer humidity. So my point is, I guess, if I don't always tell you what I'm using, that's why. Okay, so that is on. Spin these back. And I'm going to torch these real quick for surface bubbles. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to There's tape residue on the back of one of these turners. I'm going to carefully attempt to finagle these in here. And I just touched it. I may end up ordering 2 new matching turners to use exclusively for this machine. I have one, but one of these that's new still, but I don't think I can get 2 of these, so. So you want to be careful that you don't shove them so far back that they hit the back wall. So look through your side piece. And these arms are different lengths, so one of these is going to stick out further in the back. But you do that, you snap your magnetic lid on, and that is why I wanted to clean that up, because I did not want my lid to fuse to the machine. And then this is so simple, it is literally a power button. It turns on and it runs. So I'm going to bring you down so you can see it. So this is how they look in the machine. I'm going to stop the video. See, this is how you can see to make sure you're lined up okay and not hitting your silicone mat or anything. But I'm going to stop this. I'm going to set a timer for 1 hour. We're going to come in and check it. If they're not dry at an hour, we're going to run it again for another hour. Okay, so I'm a little confused. This hasn't shut off, but it doesn't feel warm anymore, so I think it ran its cycle and it was like in a cool down or something. I don't really know, but I'm gonna check it. It's been an hour. I'm just gonna slide one back too. I'm just gonna do like the back of the hand. So slightly tacky, but not what would normally be tacky at an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this back in, and I'm just going to cover them up and let them keep going. I suspect in about another hour it'll be dry, but I'm going to turn it back on and I'll let it go for another hour or so and we will check on it. Okay, so it's been about another hour. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off, because again, it still hasn't shut itself off. And I'm going to pull the turners out. So, hopefully I didn't scratch that cup up. Checking. So they are touch dry. Let me bring you back this way. They are touch dry, but they are quite warm right now, so I can't tell if it's just slightly tacky from the heat. So what I'm going to do is leave them out. I've got a couple errands to run. But yeah, dry to the touch, 2 hours, standard epoxy. If I was going on to another coat, I'd be ready to do that now. But I'm going to let these out. I'm going to let them keep turning. Actually, there's no reason for them to turn anymore. I'm going to let them cool down, and then I'll pop back in after I get back from my errands when they've cooled down, and we'll see how they feel then. But 2 hours, turners are off. Okay, so it's been about another hour, and these are cool and definitely dry. So, yeah, definitely pleased with how that worked out, and I will definitely be finding a permanent location to run this machine from because it cannot be in my workspace all the time. And yeah, I'm pretty impressed overall. About 2 hours in the machine and then an hour of cool down, and they are dry to the touch. If this was a first coat of something or layer of something, I'd be ready to move on to the next step, but as it is, these 2 tumblers are done. So the Resiners tumbler curing machine, definitely big thumbs up for me, from me, and I will, like I said, probably find 2 turners to dedicate simply to this. So yeah, this could be a game changer for me for actually completing tumblers, because I am a master of starting them and leaving them without their final coats. So that is it. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. And thank you, Resiners, for sending me this to test.